Hello, my name's Florence. Welcome to the theobspod. I'm an NHS obstetrician, hoping to share some thoughts and experiences about my working life. Perhaps you enjoy Call the Midwife, maybe birth fascinates you, or you're simply curious about what exactly an obstetrician is. You might be pregnant and preparing for birth. Perhaps you work in maternity and want to know what makes your obstetric colleagues tick, or you want some fresh ideas and inspiration. Whichever of these is the case, and for that matter, anyone else that's interested, the theobspod is for you. Episode 130, City of Sanctuary Maternity Stream. So I'm very excited today to welcome two brilliant guests to the podcast for what I hope is going to be a very interesting and useful conversation. So we have with us Katherine, who's a midwife, and one who has had her baby in the English maternity services. And we're going to talk a bit about City of Sanctuary. So this whole thing came about because I saw a tweet about City of Sanctuary and the work they were doing with women seeking asylum and trying to make them feel more welcome and more cared for by maternity services. And that prompted me to get in touch with Katherine, and we've kind of gone from there. So Katherine, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Hi, yes, thank you. So I am the project lead for the maternity stream within City of Sanctuary UK. I am a midwife. I'm also a midwifery lecturer and also a PhD student. So I have lots of different hats. But the work that I'm here to talk about today is with the maternity stream of Sanctuary.
Lovely. And Juan, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Juan. I am originally from Malaysia, and I am an asylum seeker in UK since 2019. And I am mother of 8 children. And my hopefully not last. I love babies. So my number 8 born in UK. So I am expert by experience, speaker, specialized in maternity mental health. And I'm also an ambassador for City of Sanctuary UK. My locations in Leeds. Thank you.
Wonderful. And it's such a privilege to have you with us today. I'm so grateful to you for giving up your time. Katherine, would you like to tell us a little bit more about what is the maternity stream of City of Sanctuary? Because before I saw this tweet, I hadn't really come across this. And I felt sad that I hadn't, because actually I do see quite a few women seeking sanctuary in my antenatal clinic. And it looked like you had lots of really useful resources to share and experiences to share. So tell us a little bit more.
So the maternity stream is a national network of refugee charities, people with lived experience like Juan, midwives, health workers, educators and researchers, all working towards the common goal of building a welcoming and inclusive maternity system in the UK. So it's a group of people who have this shared desire for women to have a holistically safe experience when they access maternity services in the UK. Because for lots of the people who we network with, their experience isn't always positive. So the women that we work with, I'll just sort of explain a bit about this term seeking sanctuary, just because I know it can be a bit confusing. So we use the term seeking sanctuary to include any person who is living in the UK who is either an asylum seeker, a refugee, has been trafficked to the UK, is living under an irregular migrant status, perhaps is on sort of an expired visa. They may have no recourse to public funds. So anybody who sort of fits under that umbrella of a whole sort of group of different immigration labels. And we don't tend to use the labels because it is quite dehumanizing to refer to people by their immigration status. So those are the women that we work with. The maternity stream came about because there's a lot of work going on in this area with grassroots charities and organisations. So we have some really excellent charities in this country who are working with women, providing volunteer doula services, providing antenatal education for women seeking sanctuary in different languages, but it's a postcode lottery in terms of where those charities are working. Right. We have some NHS services that are working really well for these women, so specialist midwifery teams. And we have some interest from the professional bodies, so from RCOG and the RCM, to help improve the services for women seeking sanctuary. But none of these groups really talk to each other. So the maternity stream sits in the middle. So we have people from all of those different sort of situations on our steering group, and working towards those collective goals.
I love that they don't talk to each other, because that's just so typical of so many things. Yeah. Unfortunately. You mentioned there specialist teams, and I know one, when we talked in preparation for this, you talked a little bit about the Hamler midwife team.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a bit more?
When I first arrived in UK last 3.5 years to be exactly ago, I was 10 weeks pregnant, and because it's very long journey, 13 hours direct flight, I have miscarriage on the next day. So the first impressions that I had in my mind that time, I was scared because I don't have money. Like in my country, if you're a foreigner, and we not even process our asylum at that time. So it's a lot of things that going on. The anxiety is super high. But somehow we have a borderline interview. So we managed to go to emergency, and the doctor in the Hillingdon Hospital very nicely told that they can accept that. So it first impressions, I was really impressed with the NHS. That's come to know that about NHS in UK. So what happened? I've been struggling actually with my mental health for quite long, but then I come to knowledge about the existence service in UK. Specifically, they have a special team. I was lucky when my asylum process been in the process, I moved to Leeds. Yeah. And then that during the pandemic, when I know that I'm pregnant again, I was super happy, but I was really scared at the same time because I don't want to miscarriage. I really, really try hard to get pregnant. So that's come to happen. My GP have a midwife, a normal midwife from the GP. But then because they saw that I have a history of mental health, and I have also a letters assessment that I had from the GP from previous area that I stayed. So they told me that I will be in the perinatal mental health team, and I will get a specialist midwife. Come happen to know this specialist midwife is only available in Leeds. It's called Hamler midwife. So I feel so grateful, even though it was a lockdown, everybody wasn't really prepared on the situation, to be honest, when the pandemic hit all of us in our world, actually. So I was really feeling that having Hamler midwife that time have helped me a lot, because I'm asylum seeker. I don't know what is maternity service available looks like, and also the midwife terms also so new to me. We're not really familiar with that. But Hamler midwife have a specialty to deal with migrant women and especially asylum seekers. So they helped me a lot with my immigrations because some of the moms didn't aware that when you are pregnant and you are asylum seeker, you are entitled for extra £5. And then also you are entitled for maternity grant. And also there is a long procedure during the stages of the pregnancy. The Hamla midwife have helped me to inform migrant help, to inform Home Office. All this proceeding I would not ever know if I didn't get this Hamla midwife. So I think it's a very good sharing today that I should share about Hamla services, and I believe there's not all midwife aware about this service, how to deal, especially to the migrant woman.
Yeah, so much more than sort of, in inverted commas, just the clinical care, much more holistic, much more information to help you with life as well as pregnancy.
Yeah, because it's not sound. It's actually a realistic experience. I could not stop myself to keep sharing about the Hamla midwife. I did lots of presentations of sharing my experience, especially in maternity and being pregnant and struggling with mental health in UK. So every time when I talk about Hamla midwife, for example, to the final year student midwife, they really feel the opportunity to hear to my story is a good story, because it can help them lessen the anxiety of when they're going to start work by preparing themselves with the knowledge, because I know it's quite challenging to be a midwife, but there is a real example through my experience that my midwife can do, and some more. It's during the pandemic, it's during of nothing being prepared, but my midwife managed to do it because she have a knowledge. She been trained, I believe, in such a way to deal with a migrant woman, and also how she led me to. What is the word? Pardon my English, actually. So
it's fine. You're doing amazingly.
Because it's not only the maternity care, but it's also on the massage. She even sent me a nurse who to do I forgot the terms, but it's something like I'm laying down on my bed, and then she just ignite the energy inside my body. It says whole body becoming warm, because I told her that I'm always having a cold, because I'm not used to weather in UK, so I feel like I have to wear double jumper even I in the room, and wear thick socks. So she have make me appointment to this special lady who helped me to go through the therapy. I really forgot what's the name, but there is a specific term. They help moms during the pregnancy. And also it helped me to focus on my baby. And also she referred me to Children's Center. I joined what they call antenatal class. So all these things is a privilege. In my country, we don't have the opportunity to learn about this. It's only for people who have money. But I feel so honored that I've been given, even I'm asylum seeker, I've been treated. I can say my team actually giving me a first class, even though it's during hard time of everyone. But I receive a first class treatment and care.
That's fantastic to hear. I think, Katherine, you mentioned about postcode lottery, and it comes across from you, that you were coming expecting, you didn't know, were you going to have to pay? How would you be able to access that emergency care when you sadly had the miscarriage? And I know there's quite a lot of concern about NHS services perhaps charging women seeking sanctuary, and that being a real safety concern, because we know these are some of the most vulnerable women. When you look at things like Embrace reports, that actually these are the women that really, really need care. Katherine, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the funding and postcode lottery. issues?
Absolutely. So I think there are two issues there that you mentioned, Florence. So the money issue, so maternity charging. So maternity care is free for all people at the point of access. However, if you have sort of an insecure immigration status, so if your current asylum claim has been rejected, or if you are in the UK on a visa that expires, you may be liable to be charged for your maternity care. And this happens after the baby's been born. You will receive a very large, often, bill. And women in the community, they know that this can happen. And it's such a deterrent to accessing maternity care because there's so much fear around having to face this charge. Even if that woman is now a refugee or has now been granted asylum seeker status, they still have this fear of being charged because then it may be that they've accessed care from the NHS whilst they were in a less secure position, and that by presenting to the service that you are then going to face a historic charge and they're going to sort of chase you up. So that's a really significant barrier for women accessing maternity care who are seeking sanctuary in the UK. The other thing that you mentioned was the postcode lottery. So Wan was lucky, really, that she was dispersed to Leeds because they have this incredible team, the Hamler Midwifery Service, who offer continuity of care, and they're specialist trained midwives for caring for women from minority ethnic groups, women who don't speak English as the first language, and women from a variety of different migrant status backgrounds. So this is a very unique service. I want to sort of make that really clear, that there isn't any other service in the UK currently that is quite as good as the Hamler team that I'm aware of. It may be that there are in their infancy and that they're just starting, but in general, women who are seeking sanctuary, they access maternity care in the same way as other women, and they go along a very similar care pathway. This might be a good moment to talk a little bit about the barriers to maternity care for women seeking sanctuary. So I've sort of touched on NHS charging. There's also a lack of information about what you're entitled to. So Wan said that the Hamler midwives told her that she could access this extra payment every week, that she could access the maternity grant, that there were extra things that she was entitled to because she was now pregnant. And that's really important because people seeking sanctuary are surviving on very small amounts of money, and lots of people are living in a state of poverty. Lots of women seeking sanctuary might be apprehensive and fearful of people in positions of authority, because although we think we are a friendly face behind a desk at a GP surgery, a midwife in a uniform with a badge, you are a member of what is sort of seen as an authority and a government figure. And it's quite easy to associate you as the midwife with the Home Office and with everything that represents. So that's something to be aware of, because the woman might be fearful that it will affect her asylum claim and it will affect her immigration status, what she discloses to you as the midwife and what she feels able to talk to you about. Lots of women aren't aware about the maternity service in the UK, and that in the UK you're recommended to book as early as 10 weeks gestation. For lots of women, if they've had babies in other countries, that's completely different. And it might be that care is organised very differently, and that you don't see a midwife, or that midwives don't exist, and that it's all obstetric-led. Women have a significant barrier when we think about dispersal policies and the accommodation that women are often housed in. The accommodation can be really poor, and we've had quite a lot of reports recently of accommodation that's sort of been infested with vermin. There's got considerable damp issues. Women being housed in apartments that are up 4 flights of stairs with no working lift, with toddlers, and they're pregnant and they've got to get up the stairs with the shopping and the pram and everything. Women are living in hotels, which is not glamorous. The women living in hotels have no control over when they eat their meals, over their nutritional intake, over the choice of what they have to eat. They're living in very cramped conditions, and it's completely suboptimal to be living in that situation when you're pregnant. So as a result of those barriers in terms of accommodation and dispersal, lots of women don't know where to go to access the maternity services. And if they do know, they may not have a way of getting there. So they don't have access to or knowledge about the bus. They might not know about sort of being able to claim travel back and how that all works. So that makes it really difficult. Women can be dispersed in pregnancy up until the guidelines are very sort of grey, because I think technically it's not supposed to be past 34 or 36 weeks, but we know that women have been dispersed up until their due dates. And some women have even found when they've left the hospital with their newborn baby that they've been dispersed whilst they've been in the hospital, and they have to move from the hospital to a different location. So that's a significant barrier. And if we think about continuity of care and ensuring that antenatal care isn't broken up, we can see why obviously it's really significant that women have a good continuum of care during the pregnancy. So there are lots of different things that act as barriers.
It's kind of like a massive mountain to climb. And we haven't even mentioned language. So
yeah, that was the next thing.
You touched on not speaking English, and I asked you a little bit about how you felt about using interpreters, because I find this as an obstetrician, it's difficult to get someone that will translate. It's usually on the phone, and then there's also the difficulty of potentially it being a man, which can be quite difficult when you're discussing intimate and personal details. So I don't know, Juan, if you would elaborate a little bit on your experience of using an interpreter, or how that felt for you.
Yes, of course. When I came to UK last 3.5 years ago, my English, it's not really even reach average. I really struggle. But I really working hard on myself, especially on English, because I found that during using the service of interpreter, because I understand English, but I just not always frequently talk, so I can't really talk. Yes. So I have a stigma in my mind that what if I say grammar wrong? I just feel like judging myself. If I say that, I would shaming myself. So that's why I don't have confidence to talk in English. Yeah. But somehow I really put an effort to learn, because when I experience with the interpreter, they not really explain what I really mean, because I understand what the people asking, but because I have the fear, then I decided that I will drop the interpreter. I don't want to use their service, and then I will try to work it, because I found that English conversations, it's much easier to learn and pick up by listening and speak. And speak. The conversation is compared to writing. So my mentor from antenatal class, Rose McCarthy, always said, nobody going to judge you. As long as we understand what you're saying and you understand what we are telling, that is fair enough. That's fine. So because I found that also sometimes they give a male interpreter, and we are pregnant woman, it's not really suitable. And also some of the terms, that is because my background, my religious background, my culture background, we're not really talking to the men about all these secret things about women. What about if you give a male interpreter? So it's really inappropriate. So I'm also even share when somebody do the research on the interpreter, that if possible, please provide us women who have experience in pregnancy, because sometimes the terms, that the feeling, the pain, like having back pain, is different when you are pregnant, not while you are not pregnant. So if someone who have been through a pregnancy, she interpret in an incorrect way. She know how to tell without have to assume how it feels, because pregnant women have a different kind of pain. So that's why having an interpreter who experiencing in pregnancy is really a big significant to help the migrant mothers.
Yeah. And I know also that there's some differences in terms of, I've discovered this from women, that some of the things I want translated, there aren't direct translations because the way it's described in that different language is totally
it's different meaning.
or culturally just not discussed.
Yes.
So it's a big deal, isn't it, language? So you mentioned to me the last time we spoke a little bit about also the importance of human touch. I think when you had your miscarriage, how the nurses behaved to you, so that even though you didn't speak the language and you were anxious and fearful and just arrived, you picked up from their body language and touch how they cared for you.
I would like to remember she's a very kind-hearted person. I don't know whether she's a midwife or she's just an emergency nurse. She's wearing a uniform, dark blue uniform. But I was really reserved that time, and a lot of things because I'm struggling with my mental health. I'm also in the domestic abuse relationship. So my face reaction have triggering her when I was laying down on the bed. She just like when I have miscarriage, I have a little bleeding, so they asked me to have a bed rest. So what happened after a few hours, I start to have a lot of blood, and then the moment that she asking my ex-partner to come to care for me, and then my ex-partner just says things that's not supposed to say, and then that time she looked into my eyes and she held my hand and she told me, "Don't worry, you are safe now and you are in UK." I just have no ideas what she talking about because I didn't tell anything. I'm not even talk, but she recognizing from my eyes and from our situations that what make me feel that trigger interest in my mind. So that's why when even my midwife, when I got pregnant, my midwife, she is a what I call social distance need to be applied during that time because it's locked down. But she's prepared with her gear, all these things. But somehow, when she just give a care look. She don't have to touch me. She just give me a look and look into my eyes. We have a language. I don't know whether we can call it a sign language, but we have the language that she cared for me. And that's the moment my gut dropped. I feel I can trust this lady. I feel that she make me safe. She can help me to not miscarriage again, for example. And she also know how to speak the language of simplicity, because she know I could not understand the medical terms or whatsoever in English or bombastic English, but she managed to use a simplest English. That's why I said Hamla midwife is very specialized, and she also even explain why I have to take this medicine in a very simple way. I like the way that she do. Yeah. But the most important thing is the look. Even though you cannot touch me during the pandemic, but she have the care look. And I think this is all, most of the midwife that I've been deal with, they have this kind heart. Katherine as well. They have the kind heart. Because Rose Makati, my mentor, always said, kindness have no language. Kindness have no colors. Kindness have no religions. So this is the words that all midwife, when I share my story with a midwife student, I plant the ideas in their mind that kindness is the biggest point that you have to explore within you. You're already in the midwife line. It means that you are a kind-hearted person. I even myself applying for being doula. Hopefully I will be doula certified by next year. And I'm really looking forward, if I get my status, I might be applying for midwife, because it's such a... Working in maternity with a vulnerable woman's become my passion.
that comes through so much. Yeah, no, but I love that idea of like kindness. No, it doesn't have a language. It's just kindness. Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that. You mentioned to me also about how sensitively the midwife talked to you about FGM. And definitely, I think that's something that I find challenging because, as Catherine's just discussed, we're already seen as potentially authority figure and someone that you don't necessarily want to trust with information. And then we're starting to talk to you about FGM and the fact that it's illegal in this country. And we want to potentially examine you to see, will it have an impact on giving birth? So tell us a little bit about how they talk to you about that.
Yes, it's very interesting topic actually, because I first know about FGM when I came to UK. In my country, it's normal. It's something that been practices through religious, I can say like that. But when I came to UK, I've been told about that. And I was like, okay. And then when my midwife that time asked me to come to St. James to do the check out on myself, because the way that she approached me is the things that I like to share, because she know it's a sensitive issue. I'm born as a Muslim, so we are very reserved women, especially our private part. So she didn't touch even about the religious, but she mentioned that one, because this is your 8th pregnancy, so we have a procedure to check your path. I don't know whether I'm using the correct terms or not. Pardon me on this. But she wants to know what is the measure of the risk of my FGM. So she even asked me whether I'm allowed to whether she allowed to have a midwife student with her. I say okay, there's no problem, because because I'm already high risk mom that time, because it's that my 8th pregnancy. But the way that she approached me using the medical terms and care about my health, care about how I'm going to give birth, because I obviously want to give birth normal. All of my children, even I have a twin pregnancy before, I also delivered normal. So I want to continue. So that's why she using that point. Yeah, we're going to do a check on you for this, because we want to make sure everything is okay. It's a high risk because I might have extra bleeding. All these simple terms. So I drop my the block that I have in my mind is sensitive, is something secret. I just feel comfortable, because when you are stressed, your body is all hardened. So that's what I think the specialist she deserves to get the terms for her position, specialist midwife, because she know how to approach it, and then she make me relax. That's the biggest wall that every migrant mothers that I've been around with, they're scared and they become tense. They're getting additional pain just because they don't trust this person, because sometimes the person didn't show the care. We can feel, especially when we are quite sensitive, have a mother instinct, so we can feel the vibes, the energy, if someone pretending or someone don't like, and some more we don't speak English. so this lady might be judgment to me, and then she might be just want to finish her job or something like that. But that's not happen. That's why I like it to share my positive story to the community.
No, that caring and kindness really comes through, and I think that's so true. I can think of women seeking sanctuary that I've seen in my clinic, and I sometimes feel awful because I've got to ask them all sorts of questions about how they come to be there, and because I'm trying to find out, are they safe, and are they feeling like they are now in a place of safety, or is there still a threat? Is there, like you say, domestic violence, or have they been trafficked? And I find it really difficult because I feel like they're going to feel like I'm questioning why do I need all the answers to all these questions? But that you help reassure me that if I do it in a kind and caring way, they will pick up that I'm doing it to try and help them and build that trust, rather than I just need to know all these things.
Can I say one more thing? Because I think what my social worker did to me also is a good idea to how do it. She always have a time before she come and knock my door. I always pick her from my window. She have a notebook. And then always when she came, she will always start a conversation about my country. Yes. There is a time that she talked about my street food. I was surprised how she know about that. Yes. You know, into breaking the ice, that she putting an effort to spend a little time. And I think every professional who serve doing this kind of service should have a moment, because I believe you have all the information on your screen where this come from. I hope I'm not too demanding asking about this, but to help us to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to trust you, to share. This is really important, because you just the street food is everybody like to talk about food, and I think it's helping to relax when you're talking about foods. You don't have to be stressed when you're talking about food. When she's talking, your food is very nice. I love spicy food, and then it says to me, oh, she have interest on me. Yes. She even do some research, know about my food country. So this is really a small point, but it's the biggest breakdown to break the wall of fear, to start to breaking the ice or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a lovely example that you give, Juan, of how we can better humanize the care that we give, and not see everything as a tick box in terms of all the things we have to do, because I think midwives particularly can become overwhelmed with all of the things you have to do. And actually, when you're given the opportunity to build a relationship with someone, and that's where continuity of care comes in and is optimal. If you know the person, if you know the midwife, if you know the obstetrician, and you've been able to build up that rapport with them, and they know you and they know the kind of foods that you like, or they've taken the time to sort of learn those things, that trusting reciprocal relationship is so much more likely to develop when it's somebody that you know, and it's not someone who is rushed, who you've never met before, isn't using a translator. You know, it's huge.
And I think if I can tell also about the story about Great Britain, about England, about UK. So we came here normally because we want to feel safe, and we don't know about UK, about Great Britain. If all of you didn't come to our country and talk about you are a great country, all these things. And most of women back in the third country is vulnerable. We don't have the opportunity to talk, to even know our rights, to be a daughter, to be a mother, to be a wife. Well, we know that since small, we've been planting with the ideas through religiously, which is benefit to other people. And then I think when I came to UK and I met all this beautiful person with a kind heart, I didn't deny that some of others, migrant women, didn't experience. But what I want to share today is the positive, that I'm lucky. I'm grateful. And I think I deserve that, because I've been suffer a lot, long years. My first daughter already 20 years. So I've been struggling a lot. So I feel alive. But the way they show the interest, like Katherine say, make me feel like human. Back in my country, when you go to the hospital, any kind of call health staff, they just after money. That's what I can say. They don't bother about how to greet you. Even, here, even a bus driver called me love. I was like, first time, hey, why he called me love? It's so it's so shameful for me to accept. But then when I observed, when the other lady came also, he say, hi, love. Oh, this is UK thing. So this is the things that we don't experience in our country. But when we come here, that's the main point that we're looking. We want to feel safe. We want to really feel the real Great Britain that who've been told, who've been spread, who've been advertised spreadly in our country. But this is the things that I always share with a professional, that is important to first make us feel safe, and your kindness is not chargeable. There's no cost to be kind.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's so
it's
true
within you.
Yeah, and I think you're very right. It can take us maybe seconds to, I think you said last time we spoke, do your homework and that I think, oh, this person's from Malaysia, or in my case, I see quite a lot of women from Albania. This person from Albania. Actually, I need to find out a little bit about Albania. Like you say, what do they eat?
Try the food.
Yeah, exactly. So that you've got that instant human connection. And I think you told me a lovely story about your ambulance driver and the connection you made through food as well. That it just made a difference in you getting to know that person that was part of your maternity journey.
It's so much. I when I remember now, I have a smile on my face, because I struggled with my mental health very bad during the pregnancy. I got triggered with men voice, loud voice. Even my neighbor voice can trigger me. I've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, low and depressions, and also panic and anxiety attack. But it was during the pregnancy. So what happened? I was in the shared accommodations. So, it's during pandemic, everybody have their own stress level, how to cope with it. But I just out of nothing, just triggered. So what happened, I always call 999. That's the only number that I remember. My midwife always told me, remember one. If you don't remember other number, just remember 999. Because she also gave me the midwife emergency number. But I don't recall all those things when I'm in the panic situation. So 999, and then the ambulance driver, most of every week, I can tell, I went to St. James. And then the ambulance drivers, the same driver who picked me from my shared accommodations. And then there is one lady, she come across when we were about to out, when she checked my blood pressure, all these things, it's quite high. So I have to go to the emergency for monitoring. So she saw my street food in the jar. So she just said, oh dear, I went to your country last time. Can I just have a chance to smell it? I was like, oh, really? Do you like it? Oh, I love it. And then suddenly I just feel like my panic or my anxiety just dropped. I just like, this is a real thing happening, when she opened the jar and she smelled it, she said, oh, it's really bring me back to the memory. Even 3-4 years ago, she went to my country. But you see how a food in a small jar can help her bring the memory, and can help my mental health. I was panicking, drop. It's just like something I'm not even having panic at all. So this is the human things, the language that you don't have to put effort to have a PhD to learn, to know how to talk the language.
Yes. That's brilliant. You mentioned your PTSD there, and I'd love you to tell people the story about your doctor suggesting that you try something new.
Yes. Oh, this is also
to help you
part.
With your PTSD.
Yes. The most interesting part of all, when I've been with my perinatal mental health team, I have a psychiatrist, doctor, consultant, what you call, if I say correctly, pardon me on the terms.
No,
I have a care coordinator, I have a social worker, I have a specialist midwife. It's a really excellent team. So what happened, I have a consultation. Sometimes she visit me with a social distance. Sometimes we have over the Zoom. Well, during the session, during the therapy, because I had quite chronic that time when I was pregnant, having nightmare most of every night. So she told me that normally what I can try is to try something that I never tried. I never did in my life, because post-traumatic stress disorder patient normally have repetitions of flashback of the bad memories that they had in their brain, in their mind. The deck keep flashing. That's why it be traumatized. So what happened when I gave birth to my son? I think my son just like 2 months or 3 months. I was in the group called Rainbow Heart Group from Women Health Matters. I saw a leaflet about football. And then it's really attract my interest, because I saw childcare provided and transportation provided. And this is really something that I've been looking, and some more, football. I was 43 years old that time. In my life, I never kick a ball. I don't know how to handle the ball even, but I said, that's it. I'm going to try what my doctor said, whether it's true or not. So I went there for the first time with a few moms from my antenatal group. I managed to influence them to come with me.
Lovely.
So that we all, first we there, we saw the ball and we just looked to each other. And then the coach said, we need to do warm up, all this thing for the beginning. And the first kick that I didn't kick the ball. I just rolling on the grass. And the other mom also tried to catch the ball that I'm not even kicking. She also rolling on the grass. Everybody laughing. The football sessions is turned to the laughing sessions. So everybody just laugh. And that's the first memory ever that I captured in my mind. And since that day, it's been 2 years now. Since that day, I never stopped talking about football. It's helping me because I'm on medications, but it's also helping me a natural remedy. You know, I create a new memories, and I have come to happen. I'm able to have to socialize with other moms, and also I have a free happy hormone without the chemical thing. So that's the best thing, that I become an ambassador for Holbeck Moor Football Club now. And my coach last year have given me a chance to have my own mother's team. So that's the biggest achievement that I achieved last year. And all this mom, we are not giving you like a strict rules or whatsoever. You can just come. Even there is a mother from Eritrea, she just kick a ball with a dress because she never wear a pant before. Whatever you're comfortable with, we just want to experience the feeling of the happy hormone. That is my objective. It's not about to be a professional footballer, but it's about how you can do your physical exercise, you can help with your mental health, and you can have fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Yes. After we last spoke, I watched your video, which I will put a link in the program notes.
Thank you.
It was just totally brilliant. And the release, you know, people were saying, and that you told me about you can take out your frustrations, you can kick the ball, you can scream your head off and nobody cares. And what an amazing thing that is. And so enjoyable, like you say, fun. You're just so inspirational.
I think,
you know, we are sorry, Katherine.
That's okay. I just want to say how inspirational you are, because I know you've said it, but I want to make sure that it comes across on the podcast how amazing you are. Wan was on our course that we ran with the maternity stream. We ran a sanctuary maternity course, which was giving women with lived experience the tools to use their stories to enact positive change within the maternity sector. And Wan used this as an opportunity to develop the football team and the mother's football team that she talked about. So women all around the area can access this amazing football team. They don't have to pay anything. They get their transport provided. They get childcare provided. They can have football boots provided, sports bras. You can play, like Wan said, in whatever you want to wear, skirts, hijabs, whatever. And it's about physical health and mental health. And Wan, I just think it's amazing. Not only did you find football and love it for yourself, but you are now a pioneer of it for so many other women. And that's amazing.
Oh, thank you so
It
much.
totally is. I sent your video to my daughter who plays football, and she was blown away. She thought it was absolutely amazing. So I hope that lots of other people emulate and copy your idea, because yes, it's incredible. And that kind of brings us on a little bit. Katherine touched on there that you'd done some training, and I mean, you've got a very powerful voice, and I know you've done some training as a peer supporter. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I first been discovered actually Rose McCarthy. She's really a big contributor to whatever I am, because when I just gave birth to my son December 2020 and January 2021, Rose have offered me to join a Refugee Council peer support group. So I say, Rose, I don't know all this thing. I don't know whether I can talk or not. But she told me that it's okay. We will give you a training. Even in that training, she's also helped us how to do the presentation, doing the slide. And even the slide that I've been using is from that peer support training. So through the day, I found that talking is my superpower. So I think that through my voice, I can reach out to the community, because I've been receiving a lot of beautiful memories, and I've experimented by myself. This title, Expert by Experience, is not coming just by that. It's coming with effort and lot of hard work that I do to myself, because I'm still in my healing journey, and I try to implement all what my perinatal mental health team did, all the training that I've been enjoying, the maternity course. Also I learn a lot on to speak on the public speaking, even in the politics way, to the parliament. I have geared up myself. I level up to give my service to the community, because for migrant women, especially asylum seeker, most of people, when they listen to my talk, to my story, they just question, did she got her status? I say, no, I'm still asylum seeker. But why you are so daring to talk? Because I have found my voice. You know, you're right. You have right to talk even you are asylum. So this is the things that I think lead by example is the best thing to do, because people, especially moms who don't speak English, they know my English is broken somehow. My grammar is go haywire, but I still talk. I don't mind. I don't care. So that's why they found the courage to come to me, even they cannot say to the person directly. But I become their peer support. They just come to me, privately message me, privately meet me to have a coffee, all these things. So I feel that I found my purpose. I'm in the right path. I'm doing this because it's in my heart. And I think by helping others make me happy. So this is also things that I've explored during my therapy with my doctor, to do something that I love. And I also becoming to embrace and appreciate my talent. I cannot write in English. I dyslexic. I have difficulty in reading, but I can talk. So the voice has become my superpower. Then I hope that even though with my broken English, everybody could understand and pardon me for that. I'm still improving. Let's do this work together.
I love the voice is your superpower. That is just brilliant. And I think, you are incredible what you've achieved when you have just said you came to the UK in, I think you said 2019. And
yes.
And, not only have you learned English, had a baby, gone through all these experiences, adjusted to living in a new country, but on top of that, you've done all these other things in terms of finding your voice, your football team and everything. It's absolutely incredible.
Can I add one thing? I always share with moms, we came here with all those obstacles, with all the hardness. It's not easy to reach in this land, in this place. So don't sabotage ourselves by stuck with our situations, with our circumstances here. Look out, reach for help if you need it. Because if we already come this far, don't waste it. This is especially moms in my background, my culture. Our job as a mom is always double standard. Just a small thing. Nobody appreciate mom. But when I join all this charity organization in UK, they have boosted my level up. I'm amazing. I'm an incredible mom, and no one can do better than a mother. A mother is nurturing a human being. A happy mom is a happy children. So wake up. This is a wake-up call to all the migrant women who hear this podcast, because we are been so far. We are here now. Let's together be the best version of us. Never regret for being whoever we are.
That's a very amazing message, definitely. I feel like we're coming to the end. And I usually end my podcast with a zesty bit, a bit that we want people to really take away and remember. Katherine, I don't know if you want to talk a bit about what resources the City of Sanctuary Maternity Stream has and how people can get involved in the maternity stream or do things to improve things for women seeking sanctuary in their area.
Sure. So we have a lot of resources on our website, including a resource pack, which you can order. You can order them in for your maternity department. We also have an award accreditation scheme. So your antenatal class, your maternity department can apply to be awarded a maternity service of sanctuary, or you can apply to be working towards it, and we can support you to make small changes within your guidelines, within your policies, within the way your care is organised to be able to sort of work towards that sanctuary award. So that's sort of one thing that you can do. I would say just educate yourself, like read about the issues facing women seeking sanctuary. There's online training you can do. Just don't sort of shut your mind to it. It can feel overwhelming because there's so many different statuses, there's so many different financial support pockets that people are entitled to. Maternity Action is a really great website if you are supporting anybody who may be liable to charging. I would say as well, remember that as a midwife or an obstetrician, you have power in just by being a midwife or an obstetrician. You can write letters to the Home Office to stop a woman being dispersed. You can write letters to stop women being detained or deported. So don't forget that power that you have as a healthcare professional. And then from me, I would say that the zesty bit, which Juan has very much touched on, is be kind. Because kindness really does save lives, and we can all do that. It's not going to take any time for us to just be kinder.
Amazing. And Juan, yes, I don't know if you want to add to that.
I think I talk a lot already, but that's it. I think everyone who be in the path of midwife, they are really born gifted with a kind heart. And it's a shame if you did not utilize the kindness that you have inside you naturally. So it's something that I always believe, treat others like as you want to be treated. So this is the point that you see, I'm a lost mother. I struggle a lot with my life, but it's just a small glance. I met with this beautiful midwife with my perinatal team. All along, I it's just like a flip. My life just been twisted. You know, this is the biggest turning point in my life. While my pregnancy, even though I'm high risk, I took the risk, and I didn't regret any single day because I have the opportunity to meet with all these beautiful persons, and it will be always my pleasure to share my positivity in my maternity to others people, and I hope people really can be open-minded in receiving asylum or migrant women, because we didn't come here to snatch your money, to snatch your right or your food or all these things. We really come here with the hope of safety, with the hope of being respect. With all our children, we bring some mom come with 2-5 children. So act of kindness, it's really humanity language.
Yeah, I think that's the real take-home message for me from what you've said is that kindness and caring human connection, and also that idea of 5 minutes homework research to just break the ice with that little human connection or curiosity about that person's home country or food or whatever it is that gives you that in that then helps the other person relax and feel, yes, this person is seeing me for who I am and a human being.
Yes, that's the point actually, because we are scared. We want to feel the safety. So show the safety. I mean, it doesn't. The world is a lake of people who care. The world needs more people like kind-hearted people, and be the one. Don't have to wait for other people to do. You start it first, and you will see the difference. Like I said, treat people like you be treated, and you can have a lot of support system, organization, and charity. It's a waste if we did not utilize it to the organization or professional or health team, to the migrant woman. All have to come together like a City of Sanctuary logo. It's just like a two hand standing together. It can represent a building. It can be represent a house. It can represent a two human being who giving the roof, who giving a safety place. So this is who we are. We are together.
Fantastic. Well, I said at the beginning, it is a privilege to have you, and I certainly feel it has been an immense privilege. So thank you very, very much for being willing to share things and speaking so eloquently with your superpower. I'd like to thank you very much, Juan, and also you, Katherine. It's been fantastic, and I really hope that people have learned something and will take away something and enjoy it as well. I very much hope you found this episode of the theobspod interesting. If you have, it'd be fantastic if you could subscribe, rate and review on whatever platform you find your podcasts, as well as recommending the theobspod to anyone you think might find it interesting. There's also tons of episodes to explore in my back catalogue, from clinical topics, my career and journey as an obstetrician, and life in the NHS more generally. I'd like to assure women I care for that I take confidentiality very seriously and take great care not to use any patient identifiable information unless I have expressly asked the permission of the person involved, on that rare occasion when it's been absolutely necessary. If you found this episode interesting and want to explore the subject a little more deeply, don't forget to take a look at the programme notes where I've attached some links. If you want to get in touch to suggest topics for future episodes, you can find me at theobspod on Twitter and Instagram, and you can email me theobspod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.